Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World, welcome to Tudor Timber, and welcome to another reading vlog. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This reading vlog is going to be, I'm going to be reading this. This is The Queen's Rebel by Laura Dowers. A young man with a glorious destiny, an ageing queen who stands in his way. This is the second book in the Tudor Court series. For this Tudor Timber, reread the first book, which is the Queen's Favourite, which is on Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester. This book is on the Earl of Essex, Robert Devereux. I will hold it here so you can pause the video now if you want to read that. But very briefly, this book is the second book in the Tudor Court series, which I'm going to be honest with you, when I very first read the Queen's Favourite, which was in 2023, I had really blinkered vision. I was just after a really good historical fiction book on Robert Dudley, and I found one, and so I was just like, right, I don't have any interest in any of those because it's fulfilled what I wanted. Of course I want to read the others. So here is the second one. This is The Queen's Rebel. And this is about the Earl of Essex, Robert Devereux. So Robert Devereux was the son of Walter Devereux and Lettice Devereux. Walter Devereux was the first Earl of Essex. Robert Devereux, their son, was the second Earl of Essex. After Walter Devereux, his father died, his mother Lettice remarried, and she got married to Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, the favourite of Queen Elizabeth I, and the main focus of the first book in the Tudor Court series, The Queen's Favourite. So yes, the Earl of Essex, he was a rising star at the court of Elizabeth I. Like lots of men at court at that time, he wanted a really glistening military career. Didn't go well, shall we say, but also he's, I suppose, best known for a rebellion called the Essex Rebellion. So yes, I have to say this book is a lot shorter than The Queen's Favourite, but then of course the Earl of Essex, when his life was taken from him, he was mid-30s, so you know, that does make sense, doesn't it? What am I hoping for with this book? I don't know, just I think coming off the bat of reading The Queen's Favourite, I just want that writing style that I have come to know from this author and really appreciate. I think the Earl of Essex is someone that is quite difficult to encapture, so we'll see how it's done here. But also how Elizabeth, as she ages, how that's going to be written as well, I think will be really, really interesting. And there's so many people at court as well at this time, because as we come to towards the tail end of Elizabeth's first reign, after the death of Robert Dudley was the Queen's favourite. It's just, there was one. But then there's this gap, there's this opening, and there's all these people that are trying to get the position that he had, essentially. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things are written. It'll also be interesting to see if Robert Dudley features in this book, because of course Robert Dudley was the stepfather of Robert Devereux, so it'll be interesting to see if he's in it. I don't know where this book begins, so we will just we'll jump right in and we'll see. As always, I've got myself on some music, nice classical, relaxed music. And so this is book number 2 of the Tudor Court series. Shall we begin? So, book originally published in 2015, but republished in 2023 in this beautiful edition. Lovely. And there is a quote by Francis Bacon, and I love this. This is wonderful. I've never actually thought of the Earl of Essex in this way, but I will read this to you. I was ever sorry that your lordship should fly with waxen wings, doubting Icarus's fortune. That's a quote from Francis Bacon. And do you know what? When it comes to like the Tudor court, I've never thought of the Earl of Essex as Icarus. But I suppose he completely is, isn't he? I mean, Icarus from mythology has these wings and is told, don't fly too low to the water because the water will clog your wings and you'll drown. Don't fly too high to the very alluring sun because it'll melt your wings and you'll fall. But Icarus can't help it. Up they go, and yeah, essentially a death that doesn't need to happen. Whenever I think of Icarus, the person that I think of in the Tudor court is Edward Seymour. But actually, Robert Devereux, Earl of Essex, yeah, that was just absolutely needless. Anyway, I waffle on. Shall we begin? Chapter 1. As always, I will read you the first sentence. Elizabeth Tudor forced a wan smile onto her face as the young man sat opposite her at the table, glanced up and shuffled the pack of cards. There we go. Onwards. Okay, so I can already answer one of those like kind of questions that I had about this book about Robert Dudley. He's not going to be in it because Robert Dudley has this literally follows on from the first book, literally like a few days later. So we know that Elizabeth locked herself away after hearing the death of the Earl of Leicester, and this book literally goes on from that. Like, she's heard about his death, she's locked herself away, and she's now come back into the world after a few days and let her ladies attend to her. And then she's gone back out into court looking amazing as she would be, put on her mask, and is keeping herself entertained with the likes of the Earl of Essex. So Robert Dudley is not going to feature in this book. That is something that, I've answered. Anyway, that was answered in the first chapter. Moving on to chapter 2, Chartley, 1589. Onwards, where we have Sir Christopher Blount and Lettice Devereux. So I am now on chapter 9. Boom, working my way through it. Really, really enjoying it. The author has really got the measure of the Earl of Essex, and I really like how he's written. Elizabeth is written so well, and there's so many people at court at this time that play such an interesting role, and you know, the fight for the favour and all this stuff. But yeah, the author's really got the Earl of Essex's like hot-headedness and this idea that he's a Devereux and he can, you know, trace his lineage back and all this stuff, and this honour, and the fact that he's a man and he shouldn't be listening to a woman and all this stuff. Anyway, but something about the Earl of Essex is I don't know how to put this nicely, who's a bit of a ladies' man. And one of the women that he becomes ensued with is Frances Walsingham. Frances Walsingham, it's a bit confusing. She was the daughter of Francis Walsingham. So Frances Walsingham the elder was such an integral part of Elizabeth's governance and council. He was her spy master. He was a very clever man. He was married to a woman called Ursula, and they had a daughter called Frances. Obviously, the female way that you spell Frances is different to the male way you spell Francis. I's and E's and all that stuff. Anyway, they're both called Frances. It's a bit tricky. But anyway, so their daughter was originally married to Philip Sidney. Philip Sidney was the nephew of Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester. everyone is kind of married to everyone at court. Everyone's in everyone's, yeah, it's all, yeah, and so the Earl of Essex is, you know, entangled with her, and he does end up marrying her, but the Ursula, the mother of Francis, is a bit worried about how the Queen will take it, because the Queen never liked her favourites marrying. She never approved of it. I mean, she just flew off the handle. And you could be really quite severely punished for it as well. So Ursula was a bit worried about that, because the Earl of Essex is the Queen's favourite, and you know they're thinking of marrying them together. And Ursula says, but the Earl is a favourite like Leicester. The Queen forgave Leicester his marriage to Devereux's mother, as in lettuce. This is the line that I think is brilliant, that Francis Walsingham says, Essex is not Leicester, Ursula. Abso-flippin-lutely. And I love that about this book. The fact is, like, I love that this book is showing that there are, like, signs of the Earl. Like, there's little glimmers of her with favouritism with the Earl, but then something always happens, and it's just like she always gets reminded that he's not Leicester, and then there is no comparison. It can't be done, and it's like, even though Leicester's no longer there, he is forever kind of there in the shadows. And yeah, that line, let's just read it one more time. Essex is not Leicester, Ursula. Essex is not Leicester. Absolutely. Essex wasn't Leicester, you know? And it's just so good. And sometimes you just read a line as simple as that, and it's just like, absolutely, just hit the nail on the head. Perfection. Anyway, I'm going to carry on reading now. Oh, and I look terrible. I am lying down because I really don't feel well. I think I'm just exhausted. Where is this second trimester energy that people promise me? Because let me tell you, I don't have it. It is currently, I can't even for a phone. It's not even 6:15, and I think I might go to bed. Oh, that's terrible. But anyway, I've got to here, which is chapter 12, page 82. Which I suppose isn't too bad actually, because the book's like 250 pages, I think. Have I just made that up? I might have made that up. No, I haven't made that up. It's about 250 pages, so if I was to read too much, I'd end up finishing it too quickly. So, but yeah, loving it so far. I love how so many people are written. I love how we are seeing this hot-headedness side to the Earl of Essex, and the fact that he just needs moulding. He really does. I also love that we have so many influences from so many other different people, like Robert Cecil, Drake and Raleigh, and you know, all these big names at court at the moment, and it's just a really nice read. As well as seeing, like, you know, we see the politics of the period, but then we're also seeing the arts and the theatre, and we're also seeing, you know, Essex's military side and his wanting of a military career. And yeah, anyway, so 6:15, I'm going to put the book down and I'm going to go to bed. I just feel terrible. I really just don't feel great. But I think with a really good night's sleep, hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. And sorry if this start of this vlog's really boring, because I just didn't move on this spot. But see you tomorrow. Hello, good morning. I am currently sat in my garden, and I'm feeling so much better today. Yesterday I felt so rough last night. And my plan for today actually was to film some sit-down videos. And I was like, yeah, I will do it, but first I need to wash my hair. But now I am waiting for my hair to dry, although it's not far off. It's still too wet to film. Or that's my excuse anyway, because I woke up and I was like, I know I need to film videos, but I really, really want to read a bit more of The Queen's Rebel. And I think yesterday, because I finished it because I felt poorly, I think it changes things, doesn't it? So I thought, well, if I just sit in the garden, I can, two birds, one stone. One, the sunshine, or lack of, saying that, it is still quite warm. It's like muggy. It's like muggy heat. Anyway, that'll help dry my hair. And two, while I'm waiting for my hair to dry, I can read some of The Queen's Rebel. So that's the plan. I've also put on this dress today, which is pink. And I felt a bit Tudory. Not the bright pink, but this necklace felt a bit like... I feel like I'm getting very, very Tudory because it's pearls with this like gold and a cameo, and I thought, oh, this feels very Elizabethan. So I've put that on to go with it. Yeah, I feel like I'm just slowly starting to dress like a Tudor today. Anyway, I'm gonna sit in my garden, listen to the birds, enjoy the sunshine while it lasts, because I think it's meant to rain later today, and just read a little bit. I'm not going to go mad, so I am currently on page 82. If I just let myself go just over the 100-page mark, yeah, I can get to page 101, and then I will stop because I do have stuff to do today, and I don't want to get to the point where I just knacker myself out just for existing. Before I actually film some sit-down videos. So yes, let's just read a little bit. Rationing. I'm rationing myself. I filmed some videos. I actually did it. I'm now stopping for some lunch before I let myself do some reading. I do want to read, but I do need to eat because I'm hungry. I've got myself some chips that I've just done in the air fryer, including a chip butty. And it got me thinking, right? So a chip butty is such a normal thing here in Britain. But I'd love to know, if you're not British, do you have chip butties? Like, is that a thing? Because it's quite, I don't want to say a staple, but it's quite normal here. So yeah, I'd like to know. I have tried to be a bit healthier by having a wholemeal cob instead of a white one, but and I will have some fruit afterwards. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, this whole pregnancy, all I've wanted is chips. I think it's the salt. Like, I'm a real like savoury person through pregnancy. So delish. Right. Food, then book. I don't do the two at the same time. Does anyone read while they eat? I can't do that. Okay, food has been had. It's now book time. I finished reading up to chapter 14. So we are now on chapter 15, Hampton Court Palace, 1591, page 101. Let us begin. So I was busy reading away. I am now, just finished that page. I'm now chapter 19, page 134. And doorbell just went. And I have a package, and I thought you might want to see this because I was enjoying Queen's Rebel so much that I decided that I wanted to read the next one in the series. So Here it is. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. So this is the third book in the series. This is The Queen's Spymaster. Shall we compare? Should we do compares? Look. Oh, it looks so nice together, don't they? Oh, yes. So nice. Anyway, yes, just thought I'd share that with you. Sneaky peek, sneaky peek. Book 3 in the Tudor Court series. Anyway, back to book 2. I just wanted to share that with you. So Pup and myself want to share with you another wonderful line that we've just read, don't we, Puppy? Yeah, we do. Puppy's a good boy. Yes, you are. A very, very good boy. And here is the line: the people pygmy, all they see is a hero, a shining boy. They do not see him as we do they? Talk about the Earl of Essex, the fact that he has this way with the people. He's so popular with the public. But he is someone who is always after advancement, always wants his way, and he gets annoyed if he doesn't. And this part, we've got Dr. Lopez, who... Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, and essentially she's got to, as it goes on to say, feed him to the wolves because of the Earl of Essex. And it's very sad. Oh, we're moving, we're off on adventures, we're rearranging, and down we go. That comfy there, pretty much exactly where you were before. Yes. Okie dokie dokie. A little while later now, and I've reached a little bit of a head scratchy decision. So this book is 249 pages. I'm on page 149, so I have 100 left. But I've decided I don't want it to finish today. I don't want to do the other 100 pages. But also, I don't feel like I've read enough today. I want a little bit more. I've got a little bit more of the itch to scratch. So I think I'm on page 149. Yeah, I think I'm going to get to here, page 175. Which is chapter 26. I think I'm going to get to there, and then I will put the book down. So then I read less than 100 pages yesterday, I've read less than 100 pages today, and then I'll read less than 100 pages tomorrow. And I think that's fair. I've got myself a glass of orange squash, and these are frozen grapes. Does anybody else freeze their grapes? If you don't freeze your grapes, go and freeze your grapes, and then tell me what you think. Personally, I really like them. Freeze your grapes. Try it. Come back to me. I will say, I don't usually eat when I read, but grapes is something that I make an exception with. Don't know why. Also, how easy is it to eat a whole pint of grapes? That's why I portion them. Otherwise the whole box will go. Anyway, gonna crack on. Why is he so cute? Oops. Don't wake him. Oh, nuts. Oops. I didn't mean to wake you, darling. You're just being so beautiful. Okay, back to reading. Sorry. Grapes eaten. And my chapter's done. On page 175 now. And I'm going to stop there. I just want to say, I love how she's written the Earl of Essex. It's just this kind of petulant child who kind of just stomps his foot and just demands things and goes in a sulk. It's so funny. Also written really well in terms of like military side, because he was such a military man, and the rises and falls of it. But also how Elizabeth then is a response. Like, she's growing older, and you know, he was so popular, but Gloriana, you know, that as she was known, as the popularity of that was starting to fade, and you know, people have short memories, don't they? But then also how Lord Burleigh is written as aging, and then his son Cecil, as in Cecil Jr., his position and his relationship with Essex. And yeah, it's just all written so well. But anyway, putting the book down now. So I'm going to say goodbye to you today. I think I'm going to go and do some editing. I might just go and read something else that's nothing history related. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow when I will allow myself to read the last bit of the book. So goodbye. Good morning. It is the next day. I have got myself a peach iced tea. I haven't done one of these in ages because I didn't have any of this syrupy stuff. But my husband bought me some syrupy stuff so I can have peach iced tea again. Yes. I have to say, it's so much nicer. It's so much cheaper than the shops as well. Like sometimes when you get a shop like peach iced tea, it tastes really like, sometimes they just literally use tea bags and it's just like, well, I could have done that. But then other times it's so syrupy, it tastes like really artificial. But I just seem to get it spot on. Not to like toot my own horn, but I am tooting my own horn. Anyway, where is the book? Where is it? Here it is. So I have me and Pup Pup. Pup Pup is literally here. You can't. There he is. Yeah, he's literally just there. Me and Pup Pup have 75 pages to go of The Queen's Rebel. And yeah, I'm feeling really mixed about it because obviously I don't want it to end, but it does need to come to an end. Today is not going to be one of those nice days where I get to spend it in the garden because it is so dark today. September's like, it literally has, September comes around the corner and then suddenly, whoosh, it feels like winter. Even though it's not winter. Anyway, I need to stop rambling. Let's get reading. I am now on page 210 and I've decided to put the book down because I'm so close to the end. It's only 249 pages. But what has happened? So, Ireland's happened, which is I suppose the big start of the Essex's downfall. He was sent to Ireland and he was given instructions to go to where the head rebel Tyrone was, and he ignores those and he does the same thing. And then instead of pursuing what he should be doing, he then meets with the rebels and makes a truce, and Elizabeth is fuming because he just ignores things all the time. Whatever instructions he's given, he just ignores. So he makes a truce with the rebels and comes back to England, comes back to court, and he sees the Queen, comes into her chambers in a state of undress. She's in a state of undress, and she's very vulnerable, and it's very clear that he is not in the right headspace, the mental headspace. He's not correct. He needs help and a place of safety. But this is the start of his downfall, and yeah, I just put it down because I know what's coming next is going to be Essex's rebellion, as it's kind of known. And then that will ultimately, the ramifications will come of it, will be the end of his life. And I'm just not ready for that right now, so I'm just feeling a bit emotional. I have found this book, I suppose, more emotionally heavy because I think it's quite sad. It's really sad. I find with the thing about when you read The Queen's Favourite is there's a lot of moments where Robert Dudley and Elizabeth, they have a lot of fun, whereas in The Queen's Rebel it's a lot of sad moments because he is a military man, he's off to war a lot, or he's trying to push his political agendas and things like that. And yeah, there's not as many happy moments. I just find it a bit emotionally. But I absolutely love these books. I particularly love the way that people have been written, particularly people like Elizabeth, who we, in the first book we meet when she's a child, and all the way through she just feels so right. She feels like how I kind of see her. The Earl of Essex is written so, so well. I always think of him as a bit of like a petulant child, a bit like a toddler having a tantrum, but in an adult form. He is someone that people see and go, oh, isn't he lovely? Because that's how the public see him. But the reality is he can be quite a dangerous person, and can really throw tantrums if he doesn't get what he wants, but on a much bigger scale than you would say a 2 or 3 year old, obviously. And it's just written so well. But I'm gonna have a little break from it. So I'll come back to you later when I am ready to take on and read Essex's Rebellion and its end. So talk to you later. Okay, so I told a lie, not an intentional one. I can't leave it. I need to read it, so I'm gonna read it now. On we go. Rebellion and ramifications. I want to read you this line about the rebellion that happened. So it's known as Essex's Rebellion, and essentially Robert, I don't think he was in the right mental headspace, shall we say, and he had this idea of getting rid of councillors and governance, in particular overthrow Cecil, who he had known for a really long time, and grew up with effectively. And he then wanted to replace Cecil with himself, and I don't know if advise is the right word, the Queen. Tell the Queen what to do, effectively. That was his idea. And he thought he could achieve this because he thought he was really popular with the public. And so when they went to start this rebellion in London, I just want to read you this bit. The people were confused, bewildered at these knights and nobles on horseback, waving their swords in the air. They either closed their doors upon them or just stood and stared. And that's what happened. People didn't join this rebellion as he thought it would. And I suppose it was quite easy for the Queen's Guard to quash. But now they're the end, of course. So I've done it. And that ending was perfect. I mean, what can I say? Of course it was what I thought it was going to be. It was about the physical end of Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex. But it was also about the feelings of others and the difficulty, with Elizabeth. Elizabeth was quite cold towards it. But then she's also difficult because she says, I maybe I should have seen it. Maybe I encouraged him too much in some ways and all this stuff. But then I suppose that the biggest thing is Cecil's reaction to it. So Robert Cecil, the son of Lord Burleigh, who by this point has died, and Cecil knew the Earl since being a boy, and he's having some difficulties with it because he's never really known where he's stood with the Earl. you know, he in the book he says, you know, he would be one way with me, and then when the other boys were there, he'd be different, you know, as children often are. It's like, were we ever friends? And this difficulty of, you know, someone that he has known for, you know, since childhood, you know, his life's come to an end in such a sad way as well. And this kind of, you know, Essex's rebellion against the monarch, but also against him, and it's such mixed emotions, isn't it? And it was just written so well. But now I've come back to think about right at the beginning of the book with that the Francis Bacon's quote about Icarus, and absolutely never really thought about it like that, but absolutely the Earl of Essex, he didn't need to end that way at all, but it just the sun was too tempting, wasn't it? So anyway, let us do a quick little roundup of the Queen's Rebel. Oh, it was fantastic. It was really, really good. It was everything I wanted to be. As I said earlier, I think the greatest thing about these books is how the author is bringing these characters, bringing these people back to how they, for me, do really feel, bit warts and all, and I really appreciate that. But also the emotion that's put into it, and that's the joy of historical fiction. You can really play that emotion through, because there's some really emotional times in this. This is, I suppose, more sombre. It's quite military based, it's quite political based, as was the Earl of Essex, so it makes complete sense for it to do so. There is a lot of people in here, and I think perhaps if you don't have that basic knowledge, I think you may struggle perhaps a little bit, but I just loved it. I have no idea how to rate this though, because had I not read The Queen's Favourite, I'd be giving this 5 stars, but The Queen's Favourite is still my favourite, so I think this is probably like 4.5 stars. But yeah, absolutely worth the read. I feel like I need to go and have a little nap and a little cry. But it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, fantastic. However, of course, we are not done, because we also have book number 3 to go, The Queen's Spy Master. So stick around to watch another vlog of the Tudor Court series. But that is it for The Queen's Rebel. That was fantastic. I need to lie down. Thank you very much for watching this reading vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this vlog in the comment section below, and I shall see you soon for the next video. Bye.